Pastor Sherman, and this is This Week in Prophecy. I want to welcome you all to the broadcast. Hope everybody's doing really well. Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas, and hope everybody's. I hope you're all ready for Christmas right now. I mean, I was telling some friends about this before. I said, you know what? I barely got my tree up just about a couple of days ago, and it's just because you just get so busy. This is probably one of the busiest times of the year, and hopefully you are like me. You're trying to keep sight of the real reason for the season. That's Jesus Christ and Him crucified. So we don't want to ever lose sight of that. But for some of you, this might be your first time checking out the show. I'm Pastor Sherman. This is This Week in Prophecy. We talk about the prophetic and dreams and visions and the sometimes end times, that kind of stuff. And we want to encourage you, if you're just watching the show for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on godstream.org, thank you so much. And we want to encourage you just to keep watching the show and keeping us in prayer, because we're just like everybody else, you guys. We need your continued prayer. Hey, I want to welcome on the show my partner in crime, Aaron Newton. Aaron, how you doing today, brother? It's good to see you.
Hey, man, what's happening? That's good.
Yeah.
I have to say, I watch you and Pastor Tommy.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like I'm in the green room. I know exactly when you guys are done. It's about time to come on.
That's it. Sure.
While I'm getting ready, I put you guys on, and so I know, like, okay, I feel like I'm sitting in the green room waiting.
Oh, yeah, because you know what? I think this is probably, if you're watching the show, folks, if you've watched this show and what Aaron was talking about, Christ and culture, you guys are getting a twofer. If you've watched both shows and you're watching this on YouTube or maybe on Godstream or something like that, you're getting a twofer, and you're well-rounded now. You get the whole mouthful. And this is the dessert right here. You're getting the dessert right now, folks. This is just going to keep you going. So let me ask you a question before we get going too far. How are you all set for Christmas already?
I'm waiting for a couple packages.
It's like the pause.
Right? Yeah, just about. There's always going to be that last minute. Cecilia is a very last minute, Lucy kind of person, and so I could see us the day before Christmas Eve, like shopping at CVS. That's just the way she does things, But
sure.
Like yesterday, I went to the mall. I was so surprised. Like it was dead. There was a few people, just like a normal weekday, and I'm like, man, I remember, when I was younger, going to the mall at this time, and it was packed, and the parking lot was packed, and like, everybody shops online, so I just, that's what I do.
I think that's what it is.
Amazon stuff.
Everybody shops online. Yeah. I just bought this really, and it's a pretty big new. We got a mixing board, right? I didn't go to the store to buy it. I did buy it. I did go to the store to pick it up, but I shopped for it online and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to come by and pick this up. Is it ready?" And they go, "Oh yeah, it's all ready." But I didn't buy it from Amazon online. I bought it from the store.
You don't even have to get out of your car now, too. They come bring it right to you. Just pop the back, and they just put it right in your car. All right, thanks. Thanks. Like I used to go, with Cecilia to Walmart, and she would just like park in the parking spot, open the back, and they'd come put it in your car, and we'd drive away. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, but you don't do that anymore. You just kind of So I think sometimes it takes the personal part of it out too. Because I like going in the store and picking up stuff and having to elbow people a little bit.
True, me too.
I just don't like to. You ever see the commercials about people, you've got a shirt and you're looking at it, and all of a sudden somebody comes by and they go rip it out of your hand and go, "It's the last one." I just don't want to get into one of that,
man. It's just no more of that. Like I she does her the grocery shopping online, and like I go to the market because I like to see the meat. I want to see this meat that you're bringing to us, because usually they bring us stuff and I'm like, really, you ordered this? Like we could have got a big fat cut T-bone steak.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
she's just like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would trust that. for food, because they're not going to get you the good stuff. You thump on it. You tap on it.
Yeah.
You thump on it. You listen to it. Is it speaking to you? Are you going to be good?
Yeah. Is this a thick watermelon or not? Yeah, like my dad, as a kid, he'd knock on all of them like, oh, this one's good. Like, I don't know what you're listening for, but whatever.
That's
it.
Like that, Well, we just want to make sure that everybody, even though you might be going to the store, you might be shopping online, don't miss the reason for the season, folks. It's Jesus Christ. It's all about Christ. And we're seeing some crazy things that are going on. I mean, just crazy going on this day and age. And we just there's probably no time in history where we need to hang on to the Lord more than right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. It's it is definitely there's a lot of craziness, especially right now. It really is, and so
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. All of a sudden we lost our video there. Sorry. Something happened there.
Mine?
No. Everything. I hit the wrong button. There's somebody in the control room.
Oh.
What are you doing over there, you control room person?
We need one of those guys.
We do. And you know what? We're praying here, folks. If you feel, now this is an unashamed plug here. If you feel like you have the calling to work in audio engineering, video engineering, send us an email. Send us an email to thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. That's thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. We'll put you to work. There's no doubt about it. There's so much to do here. And I'm feeling like next year we're going to be taken to the next level. I'll have to share some things with you, Aaron, offline that I think is going to just make you go, what? I cannot believe this is happening. And which means this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for somebody else to come in and to help out a little bit more. So we're very excited about that. Okay. But before we move forward,
I will say that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but I saw your text that you sent me Wednesday. Was it like you said we hit a milestone of people streaming? Is that like after the show, people stream that one show?
So we get data, and we get matrix of what's going on and stuff like that. And yeah, we hit, I think, and now for us, because we're a brand new show, that kind of stuff, we're literally, this I think is our 23rd show, 24th show, something like that. And so it takes a little while for these things to catch on. But they sent us a note and they said, hey, you hit 50 people like right away. And I went, oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. And I think the show had been up for probably, I don't know, an hour or something like that, maybe 2 hours. It had been up. And so, which tells me that there's a hunger. There's a hunger for people watching the shows. And so I'm very excited about that. And what does that tell you, Aaron? If people are starting to look at shows like ours, shows on the prophetic, prophecy, end time prophecy, the culture, what is that telling you about shows like this?
Wow, I was really surprised when you sent me that. I'm like, I'm gonna change these pictures out. You're gonna see golden YouTubes behind me pretty soon, I guess. But I don't know. It tells me people are really interested because, like you see what's going on, and you, God, you can feel it. It's almost like it's palpable. It's tangible. Like there's something, and people are like, what is this? What is this thing that these people are doing? This is different than the normal 700 Club, I guess you could say. I don't know. I don't really watch any of those shows, but this is different. It's more, you can see these two men have a personal relationship with Jesus that is shining. It's light, and so I think people want that, and they want to see just how much deeper it can really go, because I mean, there's a few people out that are pretty famous. I think I was talking about one guy where when I first started watching him, there's maybe 100 people streaming his show, and he's got kind of a big church. So, but after about 3 years, he has like 10,000 people streaming it live, and I'm like, people are hungry for that. And I think that, like I said, we're all individuals. We're different. That man hears the God's word through just prayer, and so, like me, I'm a dreamer, and so some people are very good at putting the numerical part of like Jonathan Kahn. He's good at putting all the pieces with the Old Testament and what's happening today together. But people are hungry. They want to know what God's doing. And he says, I do nothing before I tell my prophets.
That's true. And it's funny. Jonathan Kahn, who's and we all give a nod to all these people that are moving in the prophetic throughout, all over Christendom. There's quite a few people out there. Some are more well known than others, and so and all of them are being used, which is great. So it's always good. So I just finished up a Jonathan Kahn book, just ordered a new one, and that's why. And some of it, and we've said this before, we're all learning. We're all learning about our giftedness. Aaron and I are actually teaching a class right now on the prophetic. Give us and kind of Aaron, give me your thoughts on what has been like so far. Being able to teach and be able to share what you're going through, your experiences that you've gone through, and also some new insights based upon some of the study material that we've been going through.
I really like it, and let me say this. I really enjoy. I don't feel like, for myself, I don't feel that I can keep the knowledge to myself. It's like Jeremiah said, there's a fire in my bones, there's that. And I love teaching people, and I love helping people to kind of say, don't be so rigid in these things. Let's let the Spirit flow in our life. Like, let's not quench it. Let's move forward in this flow. And I really enjoy it, and I think it's been good. It's sometimes it's kind of late, and we all have it's like 7 o'clock, or we're talking 8 o'clock or whatever. And yeah. I've had a long day, and everybody else had a long day, and I see somebody and she's like this, holding their eyes open. I know she's getting tired, but she really wants to listen. It's a long day, but I love it. I will never. I see this. And this is just something I always want to give what God has given me freely, And I was one time thinking about taking a class, like, hey, it's like a prophetic gathering, and it was just streaming it online. And I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll do this. Let me check this out. And just to be able to stream it online in your home was $1,500, and that really bothered me. You know what I mean? It was like, really, like, I'm not even going there. I'm just gonna stream it and be on this stream. And I thought to myself, I will always give people freely what God gave me. And I get it. If you're traveling, God will provide a way. He will provide a way. But
so you saw something at $1,500, awesome. Somebody streaming their, and you don't have to say who it was, but so they're streaming their service, or they're streaming learning how to do it.
It was just a teaching, like no, I didn't think it was more like a gathering of people with prophetic gifts. Come on, we'll talk, and I'll talk to you how it happened to me, kind of thing. And it just to stream it for 2 days was $1,500.
Wow.
And that to me was, I'm like, forget it. It checked me in my spirit. Like, I felt like he was charging for what God gave him, Like, yeah, if you want to say $50, like, just help out, give a gift of $50 or not. But no, in order to sit and listen to me talk for 2 days, 2 sessions or whatever, it was $1,500. And I'll say this, that man was really prevalent, like really out there with the prophets, and he recently fell from his position. So I would just say
that's a shame. Yeah, that's really a shame. And unfortunately, we're team teaching on this thing, on Wednesday nights. We won't be doing it this Wednesday night. As a matter of fact, we'll be in Las Vegas. We are not teaching. We're actually having a party. It's going to be our first year Christmas party. But one of the things we talk about is that a lot of things that are having to do with the prophetic, visions, going into trances, all these things are getting a bad name because of guys like the guy that Aaron just mentioned. And that's why people go, oh, I don't want to be a part of this. Oh, no, can't be a part of that, because they have an experience like this. Now, if let's say you're a brand new Christian and all of a sudden you're just exploring this, the Lord's giving you this gift of prophecy, you know about it already, and all of a sudden you turn on the TV and you see this guy going, give me $1,500, and all of a sudden you go, is this what God is? And that's why people get turned off to the prophetic, because you've got people that are I'm not going to say this guy is a wolves in sheep's clothing. I'm not going to say that, or a charlatan. I'm not going to say that, but I am going to say this brother better watch out, man. You don't do stuff like that. I've never seen in Scripture where Jesus and his disciples, he said, hey, go ahead and start charging $1,500 a head for you to do that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he said, hey, he said, don't take anything with you, as a matter of fact. Right?
That's right.
And
yeah, it's tough, man. It is tough. But part of being a Christian is having discernment. These are things you need to pray for,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's I remember when I first saw him, and I'm like, I don't know, and I see him again, and like he's talking to other people, and I'm like, well, maybe he's all right. I just never really wanted to watch it. Something about him, there's just certain people that you just, but then when I was like, well, maybe I will take it. Let me see, it's just a streaming thing. Maybe it's, $20 or something, and like $1,500. Man, I'm like, that's it. I'm never even looking at this guy again.
I know, that's crazy.
It really bothered me.
I know. And so, folks, we're not here to bash anybody else, and I hope you don't get that out of us. But we do tell you, what, guys, there's what do we call it? Discernment. You discern spirits. You discern the spirits. That's part of the gift of prophecy. And if you're getting a check in your spirit, listen to it. It will, don't just write that check going, well, I'm not feeling real good about this, but I'm writing that check anyways. No. God gave you a gift of discernment. Use a gift of discernment. As a matter of fact, ask God, God, how quick, where's the door? So you can run out the door, so you can get out the door. Anyways, right. So once again, folks, if you're just watching us for the first time, you're just jumping in. Pastor Sherman, this is Aaron Newton, and we're talking about, this week in prophecy, what God is doing in the culture, that kind of stuff. Aaron, let's go ahead and let's get to some of the stuff that we're talking about, because something happened in the. So I'm going to set this up real quick, and then we'll go into the vision. So many of you know. Just recently, the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing reports of sightings of drones in New Jersey, and now you're actually seeing them on the West Coast also. One of the government spokesmen came on just recently to kind of speak to this and saying, oh, no, folks, I know everybody's been talking about these drones. They're all over the place, but they can be explained. They are commercial drones, or people there's no law against you having these drones. There's nothing wrong with these drones that are out there. And so Aaron contacted me just a couple of days ago and was, hey, do you remember this vision that he had? And we're going to talk about that too in context of this, because these two might be related. So Aaron, go ahead and recap on this. This is dated November 7th of 2023. And Aaron, go ahead.
So I'll give you also a little backstory about this.
Mm-hmm.
On the 6th episode, it says on the site, it was 4 months ago, we talked about these two specific, the vision and the dream that were together. And so we actually talked about it on the show, and I was trying to go through the, I could say, archives. I've been binging our show to like write down what we talked about and all the things, but I knew that you and I had talked about this, and it was like, I don't know what it is, but we'll just let it go. So this is a dream from uh 7 November of 2023. So I was walking out of my house. Um, it was my wife and two children. And so it was me, a little girl, a little boy, and then my wife was behind um, them. And we walked out and we walked in front of the garage and we kind of just stood up staring at the garage or in the sky in front of the garage. And we were looking and as I'm looking up in the sky, I see these little, they're really high up there, but they're little triangle. And I knew there were alien ships and there was just a whole bunch of them and they were gathered in these little groups and they were just sitting up in the sky like they were waiting for something. They were all gathering, like kind of grouping up, forming up. And I knew that after that, I knew that there was a battle coming. I knew it was them against the American people. But anyways, there were little triangles and they were just in the sky. And then the little girl that was next to me ran out into the street like, I want to see, I want to see, I want to get closer. And I walked out and I grabbed her and I held her right here on her arms like this. And I was holding her up and I'm like, you need to listen to me because I love you, you know? And then she was like, okay, and went back, got back in line. And I knew outside that it wasn't safe. I picked her up by her shoulders and I was holding her in front of me. And I said, you have to listen to me because I love you. And we went back in front of the house. And I remember when I looked over at the two children, um, they had these noses. It was really weird. I can't explain it, but they both looked like they were big and they looked like Lois from Family Guy, just the shape of them. It was really funny. Anyways, so we said, let's go back inside the house. And we walked back inside and my wife went first and the children went. And as we were walking inside, I knew around my house there was a hedge of protection. I knew I was protected. Something that stood out to me was the shape of their nose, exactly the character of the Family Guy. When we walked inside, I knew there was protection around my house, and I knew there was this big battle going on. It was going to go on, and I knew that I was fine. I knew that I was protected. It was like we're safe in our house, whatever it is. However, God's protecting it. I knew we were going to be safe, and so that was it. I woke up.
Yeah. So then, when you called me on this,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Did you have more? I'm sorry. I was going to ask you something about that.
Well, I was going to put the other one with it because they're kind of
sure.
It's the exact same ship. So this, and then on December, I don't know the exact day, but it was December of 2023. I have just give a little context. This thing happens to me where like right as I'm waking up, I have a vision, or God will show me something. So it's like half asleep, half awake. You know that right. Your body starts to wake up, and right before you open your eyes and you're like, okay, I'm awake, I see things like he'll show me visions. And I was standing out in front of the house again, and there was one of those triangular ships had came really low, and it was hovering about, there's like palm trees on my street, and it was hovering right over the palm trees. But in this one, you could see lights, and it was red, blue, and green, and they were at each corner of the triangle. And I remember thinking like, okay, it's coming closer now. Like now it's like, here it is. So anyways, go ahead. I'll let you.
Well, so one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting was that when you mentioned this to me, is that one of the things that you were saying was that you drew a correlation between the drones we're seeing now and this dream that you had, and that the resemblance was striking to you. So can you kind of tie that together? Is that I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that what you were saying?
No, that's exactly what I was saying. I didn't put it together. I'm hearing about these drones and I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what it is, but I have my thoughts about it. But then I saw a picture of a man taking video, and It was what I saw standing in front of the house above the palm tree. That was exactly what I saw. It was like three lights in a triangle shape, and it was like red, blue, and green.
Yeah.
And when I saw that picture, it was a news story, and the guy, or was actually a video or whatever, but I'm like, that's exactly what I saw in that vision, because these things don't leave your head. Like, if God put something in there, it's in there, and it doesn't go away. Like, so many of these dreams, I could, you could ask me a question about this, and I'd give you the details of what the floor looked like, but anyways, when I saw that, I'm like, hey, well, that's exactly what I saw in the vision, and I knew in the first one, it was the same ship that came. Now it was really close, and you could see the lights under it. So in the first one, it was daytime. The second one, it was like dusk or nighttime.
Yeah. So Aaron, the interesting thing here is that I don't want to be that conspiracy brother, but since we've seen so many crazy things over the last 4 years, and you go, I cannot believe that they would actually say and try to explain this away. Is it outside the realm of reality that the federal government would say, oh yeah, that did I say Roswell? I'm sorry, I was going to say that out loud. That drone is a commercial entity, even though over the last week or so they've been saying, well, we have no idea what it is. We have no idea what it is. We have no idea what it is. It comes, and these things are not small. These are the size of a car. So these are, how many commercially mom and pop drone enthusiasts out there have a drone the size of a car? And then they say, oh no, these are fine, folks. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Is it possible that these actually are not just commercial drones, but they are actually something else? I hate to even speculate what they might be.
I think the next one we'll talk about it more, but I'll just say this: as far as the government involvement in this, if you even, it doesn't take like hearing from God to I always put it like this. Everybody's so focused on the fire, they're so focused on the dumpster on fire, they never look at the dumpsters who have burned out. And if you look back, and I don't remember the exact date, to the weather balloon floating over our country, over our military bases. And they're like, oh, it's nothing. No, and it floated over the country for how long? It was like 7 days. Until it reached the ocean and they shot it down. And they said the same thing about that. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's just a weather balloon.
It's nothing.
No, it's nothing.
Nothing to
Don't
see
worry
here.
about it.
Nothing to see here. Yeah.
It was a Chinese spy balloon. Like, how I can't take anybody's word, because they've already lied to me about something so similar.
Sure.
Just but nobody ever looks at the dumpsters that have burned out. They're always looking at the dumpster fire that's in their face. Sometimes you got to take a step back and see, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? And what have they said before?
And what have they said before?
To me, I can't take anybody's word for it. For them to say, oh, it's nothing. Oh, yeah, they're just all over the country all of a sudden. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, let me read you some bullet points here. Now, this is from, I just pulled this, I just happened to pull it up. This was December 12th, okay? So it's been a couple of days. The FBI, I'm going to read you 4 bullet points that, this is a CNBC, okay? Not a most reputable, news site, but it is what it is, okay? The first one, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, they have seen no evidence that mysterious drone sightings over New Jersey and adjacent areas in recent weeks pose a national security or public safety threat. That was point 1. Number 2, the FBI has been investigating reports of what could be dozens of drones operating at night, most of which are larger than the ones that hobbyists use. Okay, point number 3. Sightings have occurred over Bedminster, which is a New Jersey golf course owned by President-elect Donald Trump, as well as near a military research facility. Why would anybody, an enthusiast, because they know better, because you have to have a license to fly these, why would they be flying over Okay, Bedminster, I can care less. Okay, it's not good, but why would they go over a military base? Okay, point number 4. It appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft operating lawfully. Okay, if you're going over a military base, you're not lawful. Okay, if you're going over,
those are no-fly zones, man.
You don't go over there at all. You don't go near. And the FBI and DHS said in a statement. Okay, why would you put your name on this? FBI, Homeland Security, saying that these are lawful if the guys are flying over military bases.
Those are no-fly zones. All right, yeah. I'll just tell you this: like, there wasn't allowed. Those are just places you avoid when you're flying. Even like a small Cessna, it doesn't matter how high it is. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to keep a track. You have to keep heading. And anyways,
yeah.
So there's that. But like, gosh, obviously it's not good.
Yeah, this is
why
not good.
Why are they flying over the bases? Why would the government, why would our government need to fly over a base? That's one.
Mm-hmm.
There's something just dark about it. But why didn't the military shoot it down?
Just shoot it down.
Okay, there's a question.
Why not just shoot it down?
Why didn't the military, if it was over the base, why didn't they shoot it down?
Yes.
But so these people, like you said, putting their name to it, right? Again, there's that, like, okay, they said the border was closed. Yeah, that's Homeland Security, right? The border is not closed. They're selling the fence now, right? So obviously they want to keep it open as long as possible.
Yeah.
Like the first time I heard, 50 Secret Service men or CIA members signed this document that said that was foreign intelligence, about the Hunter Biden computer. That's when I'm like, I don't care who says this is what it is. I don't care anymore because it's all a bunch of bicycle socks, It's like, no, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's like, but I mean, I know, being in the military, it's not easy just to get in a base, but to fly over it with a drone, take their time in it,
especially a drone that is big as a car. Okay, and that's pretty significant. I cannot imagine them going, let's say some private going, well, Sarge, what do you think that is? Oh, don't worry about it. Probably just some enthusiast flying over.
Yeah,
happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's an enthusiast stuff, right?
Goodness.
They would be scrambling jets and saying, "Get that thing."
Yeah.
So why have they not scrambled jets? Why have not they? So what do you think? I mean, you were a military guy. I mean, what would be the purpose? What would be the advantage of not scrambling jets to shoot down something like this?
I mean, or they didn't even get a helo in the air and look at it. Let's go see what this is. Let's get closer. Like nothing. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, that's something I don't know why they wouldn't do anything about it. Why they didn't shoot down the weather balloon, back when it was going across our country over bases.
Bases.
Why they didn't shoot it down there? It's something dark. It's something dark, and I just I don't want to say this is what it is because I don't know. I haven't heard that. But
now there have been speculation. So let me interject this. There's been speculation that Elon Musk has got some advanced technology, and he's trying to get it to our military. But here's the difference: the stuff that Elon Musk is working on are not slow flying drones. Okay, his stuff is supersonic stuff that goes so fast. It goes faster than the Blackbird. Okay, it goes much higher and it goes much faster. And so now I've heard reports of that. So I would think that it is a military thing. I'm just putting my 2 cents in worth. Okay, my 2 cents worth is just as good as anybody else's, I guess. I believe it's probably some military thing that kind of like the way the stealth was. The stealth, they flew it out here in not Pahrump, but Amargosa. They flew that thing around there all the time.
Yeah.
And people saw it at night. They had no idea what it was, but they were test flying the thing. I would assume that they're saying, hey, let's see if we can fly these things around here. What are they going to do? And what better place to do it than New Jersey? Okay, what better place?
Yeah. Well, okay, but that's the thing, right? Like usually they test these things and like keep it in that test area until they need it or until it's like, okay, well this is what we're making. But why are they messing with people? Like why are they flying it over people's houses and why are they doing it in neighborhoods? Like that that doesn't sound like the military to me. Like we don't like test our jets or like let's say missiles, right? Like anti-air missiles. We don't
Hmm.
test them over neighborhoods to make sure that they'll, pop down a drone over somebody's neighborhood. They do it out in the desert where nobody's watching. Like that I was in the military a long time, man. We don't do that. You don't mess with the civilians, especially. You don't
Well,
test your stuff on over civilian homes and like that's just something the military does not do.
yeah. Oh, well, we
So
thought. Well, we thought. So we thought the military wouldn't have cross-dressing, head people either, and we've got people that are.
but it's nefarious as well.
That's true too.
But
Wow.
that's dark as well. So, I mean, if it is them, I'm just saying they're not just testing it in a good way over people's house. Because what does the military do, right? They test the A bomb way out in the desert, but they
Oh yeah.
build fake towns, and then
Yes.
they say, well, let's see how this affects the fake town. They don't go do it close to a city. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get that's a web, it's going to cause mass destruction, but
Sure.
we don't use the civilian population to test things and see
Yes.
what they'll do. There's something darker. If it is the military, our military, then there's something dark behind it.
Yeah.
It's just not a like, hey, we're gonna do this. This is a great idea.
Yeah. Well, we don't know, folks. So we're going to find out. So if you've got an idea, you're
Yeah.
watching the broadcast here, folks, and you've got some idea of what you think it is, I want you to write into us, folks. Write into us at thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. Let us know what you feel on this. I mean, what do you think is this thing? What are these drones? Okay. And if you've got some video of drones or maybe even something that you thought was kind of just was kind of weird, send it to us at thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. Okay, thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. Aaron, I think you said there was actually a part two, or there's something else extended about this.
So yeah, I so this next stream was 19 March 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and it was right. I don't know if it was right before. When was the? Well, I don't remember, but whenever it was around the time of the eclipse,
Okay.
and everybody was talking about the eclipse, and the last three of them spelled out the Hebrew letter Tav over the nation,
Yes.
and there was so much about this eclipse, right? And there was just lots of talk, especially prophetic. Went over 7 cities of Nineveh, and there was so much about it. Well, so I had this dream, and I thought this dream had to do with that, but it was around the time. I think I almost feel like it was after the eclipse. I don't remember, but it was March 2024. So
Mm-hmm.
I was living in a place, and it reminded me of Oregon. It was green. There was trees like Douglas firs, like big like Christmas trees growing everywhere, I guess you could say. And so I was in the backyard and I was looking in my backyard and I knew there was parts for these guns and they were buried in the backyard. And as I'm like kind of just digging through the dirt, picking up these things, and all the people in my neighborhood were gathered. It was like I lived on the corner of a four-way stop sign, and all of my neighbors were gathered in the street, and they were staring up at the sky. And I'm like, I was looking over my fence, almost like the guy from was it Tool Time, where he never see his face, he just see his eyes. And I'm looking over my fence, and I see my wife out there, and she's holding a cherry blossom tree branch in her hand,
Mm-hmm.
and she's with them looking up in the sky. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Get over here. I'm just like, ah, man, you're out of hand, lady. Anyways, so she's holding the, let's see, I was looking over the fence. I could see my wife. She was holding a cherry blossom tree branch. All of the people were staring up into the sky. And as soon as I saw that, helicopters, and these were like the ones with like I guess you could say like the old Magnum PI ones where it was like a little ball in the front and it had like a long, yeah. And so they were flying over the neighborhood, and they were flying over looking at the people, and I knew it was the government, and they wanted to put a stop to something. They were doing something like they wanted to put a stop to it. It made me nervous, and I was thinking about what's going on. And I knew that they were there to oppress the people. This was their whole purpose, was like they're looking down like that guy's doing something and that guy's doing something and that guy over there, we need to stop it, you know? And so I'm like burying all the stuff back, like, okay, I hope they didn't see what I was doing. But excuse me, they were flying over and they were watching it, and it was just dark. Like it was, really oppressive. And then my dream switched. And I don't know how this ties into it, but it was still part of the same dream. So I'm going to say it because we might find out later. And then I was watching a TV show, and it was about famous Canadians in Hollywood who had turned to Jesus, actors and musicians. And the last one in my dream was Celine Dion. And she was on a TV show, and they were interviewing her. And they were like, tell me about your walk. And it was kind of a big show, like it was kind of a big deal. And they were saying to her, like, tell me about how you found Jesus and this and that. So she talked to him. And then after the show was over, all these other producers were trying to contact her and say, okay, we want you to come on this one. And then after that, you're going to do this one. Then after that, you're going to do this one and this one. And she said, nope, this was it. I'm done. I'm going home to live in peace. And yeah, they were trying to get her to do more shows. She says, "No, I'm done. I'm going away." And then that was it. That was the end of the dream. I, I'm not 100% sure that I was where I was at, but that's what it reminded me of. Like I don't know that it was Oregon. I don't know that it wasn't, but that's what it reminded me of. It was like lots of trees, very green. Um, you know, that I just that's what it reminded me of. Or Washington, actually. Same. Well, well, let me say this: AK-47 is communist era weapon, right? Um, but if you let's say that, okay, so this is a Russian, invented by the Russians, 1947. Anyways, but what does the AK-47 symbolize to you? And most people when they see AK-47, they think of rebels. They think of like let's say I think of like the Taliban and Middle Eastern, you know. I think of African, like all the wars in Africa. Usually, they're both fighting with AK-47s, and even flags of countries have that AK-47. Usually, they're communist. I think of communists. I think of this is what an AK-47 symbolizes to people is this is communism, war, rebels, stuff like that. That's what I think, and terrorism. That's what I think of. Uh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't really know that. I don't know the answer to that. I would say, um, the in the dream, I don't really know. I know there's a lot of Asian communities on the West Coast, right? There is a lot, and that can be a gateway to enter the rest of the country. You know, they have a foot that it's not like they're just say there's a community of Chinese and Asians in San Francisco, Seattle, Oregon, Portland, California, North and South. But the thing that stood out to me in the stream is that I was digging them up from the backyard, but when the helicopters started flying over, I was hiding them. Like, okay, okay, I got to keep this hidden. And I knew that their whole mission was to oppress the people. So now, I mean, why AK-47? That's a good question, right? I think that really has something to do with it because,
Hmm.
like I said, it to me it represents, um, just something not good, right?
Okay.
Just like
Sure.
the way the swastika represents Nazism,
Yeah.
the communist star, the hammer, the sickle, the AK-47, that all
Sure.
represents communism to me.
Communism. Sure. Yeah.
But why was I bearing it, and why was I making sure that they would not see it? Maybe it's just like they're looking for things like the Second Amendment. Let's look at what it is. It's a gun. Second
Okay.
Amendment, right?
Sure.
What what just happened, right? That
The
girl
kid. Sure.
shot some people.
Yeah.
What happens every time somebody gets shot like this?
Sure.
We
Then
got to
you
take
have
away the
people
guns.
take
Oh, the
away their
guns are a
guns.
problem.
Sure. As
So what's
opposed to the
happening
yeah.
right now? Right, I'm. It's a tragedy. I mean, it really is. It's not, but we're trying to piece together what this means. So right now we have these drones flying over. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know who it is, what it is, whatever. But in the dream, the government was flying over,
Mm-hmm.
watching the people. They were being oppressive. And the second thing was, I need to hide these guns from
Okay.
the government,
Okay.
right? Because every single time there is a something happens, we got to take away the guns. And then today I saw a post on X. It was Joe Biden. He said, I was leading the charge to take
Yes.
away assault rifles in the 90s. Let's do it again. And I'm
Let's do it
thinking to
again.
myself, okay, so now we need to take away the guns, right? Oh, such a tragedy. They're going to come out and use this. They're going to use this tragedy to say you shouldn't be allowed to have guns,
Yeah.
right? It's always something they want because if you can't defend yourself, like the whole reason, if you read the Second Amendment, the whole reason
Yep.
for the Second Amendment is to stand up to a tyrannical government,
Yep.
not hunting, not musket shooting, not sport shooting. It's to make sure that you're equipped to stand up to a tyrannical government. And it's not for muskets and duck hunting. Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of having a musket when I'm fighting somebody with an M4? I want to be just as well as equipped as they are. So I'm going to have a weapon just like they are because I mean, if we're fighting people with 1700s technology, it's pointless.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. To me, I'm trying to bury it and not let them see
Yes.
him. But
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So let me back up just a little bit because I noticed that there was, and somebody gave me a high five here and said that they missed what I had said earlier too because it looked like my vocals kind of dropped out. I was looking at Oregon. I was trying to piece together the first three sentences that Aaron was talking about and what Aaron already brought back. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, but I was inferring that there might be a communist cell in America, but what Aaron is bringing out is that no, maybe what it is that there could be a threat on our Second Amendments, and that's because one of the parts of this vision was that you were trying to hide these things, and so
Yes.
and that's why you brought up that no, that those AK-47s could be representative of the guns that we're trying to hide. And so if
Yes.
and so that's very interesting. Oh, you kind of shifted your camera there a little bit too. So we're gonna have to.
Yeah, can you give me a second, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So
no
sorry.
problem.
Can you give me
No,
one
you're
second?
not a problem. So, so for those of you you're just watching the show for the first time, I'm gonna switch over just to me right now. There we go. All right. So one of the things that has happened here is that during this broadcast is that here I'm gonna get rid of the guest there. There we go. All right. Is that as a show, what we do is we try to bring out some of the nuances of some of the visions that Aaron's had. And what I've seen, which is very cool, is that based upon some of the details that he's given us, and this is really important for those of you guys that are having dreams and you're having visions, stuff like that you write down the details of all the stuff that you're doing. Because if you don't, you know what could happen is you end up having incomplete thoughts, or we get parts of the dreams and parts of them that are gone, and you want to have the complete thing. So let's bring Aaron back on. And Aaron, I know you've got some. Give us a little bit more context of what you were mentioning just now.
All right, thank you. Sorry, my my computer came unplugged and it was like, oh, your battery's gonna die right now. Oh man, I'm gonna.
Yeah, can't have that. Yeah.
What happened? Okay.
Yeah.
So, what were we talking about?
So we were just talking about kind of backing up a little bit about our Second Amendment. You know, is that
right.
It's there for a reason. You know, our Second Amendment's there for a reason. So do you think that this vision that you had, this one from March 19th of 2024, speaking more about our Second Amendment as opposed to somebody coming in by the back door to our country?
Well, anyways, that was the feeling I had in the dream. Like,
yeah,
I think also writing down details, but how you felt about something is very important, because I could say, well, I saw these people flying over, but I was happy about it, or I knew that there was an oppression. So to me, it looked like they were searching for something. They were looking for something. They wanted to oppress the people. So me, at the beginning of the dream, I was trying to dig up these old AK-47s that were buried in my backyard. But when I saw them come, I was burying it. I had to cover it up so they wouldn't see it. And so I would say, well, what's going on in the world today? We have drones flying over, and then we have this tragedy that happened in was it Minnesota or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, yeah.
And Wisconsin, right? So every time there's a tragedy like that, the first thing that Democrats do is they want to get rid of the Second Amendment. We got to take away your guns. It's the guns that are killing people. And to me, I don't know. That's just we got to take it in. Here's what we see. Here's what we know happens every single time. That's the first thing they do. Got to get rid of the guns. And then I saw an X post of Joe Biden where he wanted to. He said he led the fight before in removing assault rifles from people. And that's they're afraid of you standing up against them, and that's the point of the Second Amendment. What I was saying is that the point of the Second Amendment is to stand up against a tyrannical government. It's not hunting, it's not anything else, but that means you're allowed to have weapons to keep, to hold, and to protect yourself. And they don't see that. Just because a politician tells me, well, you shouldn't have that, doesn't mean that my right does not say I can have that. It's indoctrination. And when I lived in California, I thought that growing up in California, I thought I would never own a gun because I can never get one. It's illegal or it's against what everybody thinks. But as I moved away, and I moved to New Mexico, and I remember the first time I was in New Mexico, maybe a couple days, I saw people carrying guns on their hip, and I'm like scared.
Hey.
Oh, wow! I was
Were
always
you?
told
I bet you freaked you out, didn't it? Yeah.
But after a while, I'm like, this is my right as an American citizen to be able to arm myself, protect myself. doesn't mean I'm just gonna wave it around and do things. It's just I'm able to do that. I don't care what they say. I'm allowed. And so
part of being American.
Then it went sky high from there.
Yeah, it's part of being an American. It really is. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes and so we'll keep you informed, folks. If there's any more revelation that comes up as a part of this this last stream, we'll definitely keep you informed on that. Aaron, we just got a couple more minutes here left, and instead of getting involved into another vision, something just happened recently, and I want to get your input on it. And this, we didn't talk about this, so I'm going to just throw it at you. So, as I'm wont to do, just recently they found out that this has something to do with Donald Trump and one of the things that's going on in the building of the wall, because Donald Trump is going to, when he gets back in office, we know he's probably going to go back and he's going to start rebuilding the wall that he had started. When he first started his first term, he started building a wall. Democrats pushed against it. And then once he lost to Joe Biden 4 years ago, Democrats stopped the building of the wall. And then, evidently they started selling off these portions of the wall, or they put it on the market or whatever they did. But we just found out that now that they're not only are they selling off what they can, before Donald Trump, who won the election, they put it on a government website, and I wish I could pull it up. I'm going to try to find this thing for next week. Is that they're selling it for pennies, nickels on the dollar, and I mean they'll sell 1,000 pounds of metal, and this is specialized, stuff for like $100. And so, give me your input on it. I mean, we've only got a couple minutes left, but give me your idea. Give me your feedback on: should this be illegal? Is this okay? Give me your feedback on this.
I don't know that it's illegal. It's not illegal for the government to sell surplus items, but I think it's immoral. We know that the people want this wall. Okay, They voted for Trump. They voted for his policies, which one of them is the wall. And now you have Democrats saying, no. Yeah, we're not going to do that. And that to me is tyranny. Like, we know what the people want. It's not about the Democrats and the Republicans. It's about the people. They want the wall. So it's immoral. I don't want to go as far as saying that's illegal, because like I said, the government can sell off surplus items, and that's just, part of life. But for them to sell it like that it just makes me more anti this, And if your eyes are open, please look and see. Like, don't you see what they're doing? That, again, we got a dumpster fire of drones here. Let's hurry up and sell this metal while they're all focused on these drones. There's so much more to it,
Yeah. When I saw this story, I went, is Joe Biden never? It's like the Dallas Cowboys. I hate to put the Dallas Cowboys in the same conversation with Joe Biden, but they will always find a way to lose. You know what I mean? Joe Biden could just go off into the sunset and just go, right? Because he lost. The people gave him a resounding no to his policies. And people are saying that this was not Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's mind doesn't work this way. He's not smart enough to do this, to actually just thumb his nose at the American people as he's going out the door. Somebody said, Joe, guess what? You still have power. Let's use your executive power, or let's use Joe's executive power to do this. Just have him sign it. He doesn't know what he's signing anyways. Right?
I got okay. So, man.
We got 30 seconds. Go ahead, but yeah.
Okay. I had a dream, and we talked about it in the show where he was sitting at a desk, and the man was sitting next to him, telling him, "Here, sign this. Oh, what do you want? You want to sell that metal? Sign this. Oh, you want to have free abortions for the country? Sign this." And he was just like, "Yeah, whatever you say, whatever you say." Remember that? I know you remember that one.
Yes, I do. Sign the paper. Sign the paper, Joe. You don't know what you're doing, buddy. Because
everything is coming together at once.
It just drives me crazy. Anyways, Aaron, I want to. If I don't see you before Christmas, bud, I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, bro. Because it's just, we've spent the last 3 Christmases together now. This will be fun.
Yeah, we did, huh? Yeah, that's right. Wait, you're doing something tomorrow? You doing a Christmas party?
We are doing. As a matter of fact, thank you for letting. We're doing a Christmas party at our church. We've got like a Secret Santa, food, all that kind of stuff. So if you're ever in Las Vegas, folks, if you're in Las Vegas next week, come on out to 6660 Bubbling Brook Drive for the Sagestone Church first annual Christmas party. Okay, it starts about 6:00. Okay, should have a great time.
Okay.
All right.
That's next week?
No, this week. That's this week. It's tomorrow. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to have some fun. Can't wait. Okay. Anyways, Aaron, I will see you again, though, for the show next week. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later. You have a Merry Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Merry Christmas. Tell Linda I said hello.
I will do that and tell the same thing to the lovely Sheila. Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye-bye. And, folks, I want to thank you all for being a part of the broadcast today. Isn't that been fun? A lot of cool things that have been, a lot of revelation that's come out as a result of this show. Once again, some of you have been watching and asking about the show. Please, if you've got any questions, you've got anything you'd like to mention about the show, go ahead and write to us at thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. That's thisweekinprophecy@gmail.com. You can always check out the show on YouTube, on godstream.org, or just write to us or go directly to thisweekinprophecy.com. That's thisweekinprophecy.com, and you can check out the show directly. Okay. This has been Pastor Sherman Ray for This Week in Prophecy. Thank you once again for being a part of the broadcast, folks. We will see you again next week for more of the show. You guys have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.